Hey, all, this is Mac with the Mission Rewired Veterans Mastermind. Today we have I'm really excited about this part. We have Lila, and that I've known Lila for I guess about 3 years now, and she is such a ball of energy. Although we do have a little standing joke that she's
Mhm.
always trying to do stuff and she only wants women. And I keep telling her I get to come in as a woman, and that I just love being around her. And that we have some new people coming in. Leila, I'm going to let you get started so we don't impose on your overall time. I know that you do so many things, and I was looking at what you're talking about today, and I think it really encompasses um, a lot of insight for people to correlate what the body does tied into business. So I'm just really I'm jazzed. Can you tell? And then I'm jazzed about seeing what you have to bring to us today.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Mac. Do you want me to just to dive in?
I just dive right in, honey,
Okay.
head
Uh,
first.
yeah. Give me some sparkle fingers if you are a veteran. Veteran here. Okay. And I'm not. Yeah, I wasn't. And then give me some sparkle fingers if you adore veterans.
Of course.
Right. And what about sparkle fingers if you had some family members who've been veterans? Yeah. Okay, good. So I'm a family member of many veterans. A lot of my family members have been veterans. My grandfather paratrooped on D-Day in Normandy. He was knighted by the Queen of Holland for pulling out his commanding officer, and he did not talk about the war until uh, after he was retired. He and my grandmother went to see the movie Saving Private Ryan, and it just opened him up. He started crying, as the story goes. None of us were there besides my grandmother. But, we never really saw my grandfather cry. He was a tough MFer. He was a veteran and an iron worker. I don't know. Do you guys know what an iron worker is? Kind of, yeah. Yeah. So he's fallen from buildings and just got right back up like it's nothing, like crazy stuff, right? So this Saving Private Ryan movie opened him up. Do you guys know anybody else that had an experience through seeing that movie? Maybe something opened for them or something moved emotionally. Yeah, Mac.
I think that was one of the better ones for my generation. This probably takes Steve into account. It was the Vietnam movies that hit home, and that
Mm.
and how people were treated. I actually just saw the meme, whatever you call it, the other day that there's still almost 1,600 soldiers, Marines missing in Vietnam that have never been found.
Mm. Yeah. So imagine, we don't have to go into it too much because we're already there. We can tell, right? We feel the feelings, but imagine, the people in their life, their family, their friends, their loved ones, they're all these people are gonna, there's a layer of maybe stress associated right that with that, right? Like I said, my grandfather held it all in, and then after he saw Saving Private Ryan, it opened him up. He was willing to share, and he actually ended up, one thing led to another, and he ended up being like interviewed by Dan Rather, and had was like part of this really epic book on veterans, and all sorts of cool stuff happened. So um, I listened to a book, this book called The Body Keeps Score. So, has anybody heard of that? Yeah, I know. I figured Sally, this is your jam. So you understand this. So I'm going to share this, and it may or may not be for you, but I listened to it because I'm all about the body. So I'll give you kind of a little overview, and then I'm going to talk about this body stuff a little bit, and then I'm going to actually give you some practical tools that'll help you get out of fight or flight, actually not get in fight or flight in the first place, not release stress hormones, not release adrenaline. And then the reason I'm so passionate about this is because it'll be powerful in your business and your relationships, your health, your vibrancy, your ability to attract. Like Max said in the beginning, I'm a ball of energy. And I always think to myself, I have so much more I could give. I feel it like there's more coming, friends, you know? And the only reason I can really be perceived as a ball of energy is because of like this certain work that I do. Some of it's movement. I'm not going to talk too much about movement today, but I am going to talk about not releasing stress chemicals, not releasing anything that's going to keep you in fight or flight. So sparkle fingers, if that sounds kind of fun. You're like, oh, I would love to not be in fight or flight. Yeah, 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 good. I mean, and like I would love for stressors never to make me stressed because there's always stressors in life. Things happen, right? Somebody's gonna cut you off in traffic someday, like whatever. But do you let it, get you or not, or do you have any tools so it doesn't get you, so it takes you out? So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. The reason I wanted to share a little bit about um, my grandfather was because I think about all the years he could have spent enjoying life a little bit more if he wasn't in this a subtle fight or flight energy. If he wasn't in the adrenalized game all the time, I wonder if he would have drank a little less, yelled a little less, right? Uh, uh, been a little closer to his kids, maybe had a few more friends, right? Because he was an amazing man. He was a boxer. He could sing opera. I mean, he was an amazing man. But he was a tough, guy. He comes from that generation. I come from generations of men who are shut down and closed off. Well, what I know now, they were in fight or flight mostly. They were in adrenaline cycle, and they're just trying to keep it together. And so it's reasonable. And I wish I would have had the tools that I have now, not just for my grandfather, but my dad, my biological dad, and both my stepdad died in their 50s. And I see now as I look back, not just my family, but like leaders all across the world, these epic people like you, right? Like friends colleagues speakers you see, business mentors, right? All these people who do great things, they might be able to live longer, right? If they're not in stress. Okay, so I don't want to get too serious with you guys. I can feel it's like, okay, I'm getting kind of serious. Because I want everybody to have fun. And in business, the more fun you're having, oftentimes, the more money you're making, the more deals you're doing. So most of the people who make all these deals, those big deals, are doing it when they're having a good time. Deals are made on Zoom calls, yes. Zooms are in meetings in person and stuff. But oftentimes there's some sort of fun being had, and you can't really have fun. You can't be in a bright energy. You can't share collaborative ideas. You might even feel competitive with people in the room if you're in fight or flight. Okay, so I'm certified in a methodology called the pressure-free method, and I have a bajillion certifications and degrees and all these things. So it's not really about that. What it's about is that I care about you because I know you have something great to bring to the world. And I know that if you're a veteran, you've been through probably some sort of thing that's traumatic. And maybe not, but there's a lot of tools out there. There's, therapeutic tools, on the go tools, lifestyle tools, how you set up your life, right? There's all these tools, right? There's like lots of tools, medicinal tools, like lots of tools out there. So this particular thing I'm going to teach you is um, uh, on the go, in the moment, when you walk into a room, when you're waking up, anything. So give me sparkle fingers if you ever know that you trigger adrenaline or you feel stressed or you get overwhelmed or you feel stuck. Yeah. Okay. Good. So I just want to make sure I'm not like teaching you something you don't really need. I'll give you a little reason why I'm doing this. So I used to be in academia. I have like 25 years of education, and I used to teach at the Ohio State University. Don't do it wrong. The Ohio State University. And then I left all that. I had like this whole transitional period of life, like many of us do. And I got into this body movement system, which works the fascia, that's the connective tissue. The connective tissue holds the nervous system. So I'm really like a mind body expert more than just like a body or a mindset person. It's like the mind body connection. So I've spent about 12 years studying that particular area of knowledge. And then I've been in movement and doing all sorts of stuff my whole life. But what I recognized over the years, and then I started a business that did so well, people wanted to know how, so I started business coaching. And so I actually teach you how to create high ticket offers, how to sell, how to use speaking as a marketing tool to get more clients. The reason I do all that is because I started the body business. It did so well. People wanted to know, and I just want to help people who want to help people. Guarantee everybody in this room is a helper. I actually know all of you business model except Steve. I don't know your business model yet, but I hope to, so I can be a referral if need be. But what I recognize is even if I helped people in their body with the movement, even I help people with business strategy, I could tell you how to make $1 million, $100,000, 250, whatever you want. I can tell you how. But the truth is, if you're in fight or flight, no strategy is going to work. Period. So if you've invested your time, your energy, your money, or whatever it is in some sort of strategy and it hasn't worked, it may be a stress issue. It may not be a strategy issue. So I just want to give you that today and say, like, hey, there's a way to make, pretty much every strategy work. But you need a clear mind, an open heart, right? So everything flows well from the voice, from the messaging, and needed a calm body. So I'm curious, does anybody feel a little bit different than when you first showed up on the call today? Do you feel any different? Mac, Sonia, yeah. What do you guys feel?
You know what is so interesting to me? You talk about your grandfather.
Mm,
Um, my mom's best friend, her husband was at Normandy, and during the 75th anniversary, he took his grandchildren over there for the ceremonies. And I immediately correlated that to you, that you knew your grandfather and what an experience they may have had,
mm.
seeing their grandfather who was in a wheelchair and had all of his medals and stuff. But so often, grandchildren don't get to know grandparents and who they were.
I'm gonna break my heart, Mac. Yeah. That's why I'm here to sorry, you choked me up a little bit.
Good.
Um that's why I'm here to share this today. It's like this, it's a lifesaver. I mean, I'm not trying to be like ultra dramatic, but it truly is, and it's super simple. Um, what about anybody else? How are you guys feeling? What are you feeling different? Yeah. Sonia and then Steve.
Um, I right before this call, I had a meeting with a client who's she's been stuck in fight or flight, and she's a leader that I've worked with for the last 5 years. And I remember starting working with her when she was at her high, and she was so happy and just positive and had clarity and great balance in life. And And when I started working with her again recently, she's like a shell of the person. And it's the first thing I picked up on. And I could see how she was struggling. And today, working with her, I'm so proud of her because I'm seeing, just in 1 week, I'm seeing improvements she's making. And I'm helping her get out of that fight or flight. And myself, I almost died in 2018 because of the fight or flight freeze syndrome with an employer I was working for. And I was trying and trying and trying to lift others up to be successful and do my job. But no matter how hard I tried, I was being thrown under the bus and just, you know, just trying to thrive in life. And, you know, you've got those people who are outside of your control, always trying to push you down. And, you know, so when we go through seasons like that in our life, to know how to help someone get past that fight or flight is a gift to be able to keep giving. And so I'm emotional because my uncle didn't make it home from Vietnam. And my whole business that I'm working on right now, the book I'm writing, is to help veterans reclaim their purpose beyond the uniform. And a lot of them go through this fight, flight, or freeze.
Yeah. I'm with you, girl. I'm with you. I'm here to help. Same thing. It's like if we can get them out of it, imagine what's possible, because these service leaders are amazing people. If we can get their true essence of who they are, right, out into their world. Yeah. Who else wants to share? Thank you, Sonia. I appreciate you.
I think
Yeah.
Steve did.
Steve, yeah.
Yeah. So right before the call today, I'm working on a speech. I'm in professional presenters
Nice.
and Toastmasters.
Nice.
And the speech I picked, it's only a 5-minute speech today because tonight's different because it's 10 speakers instead of 3 or 4. So it's only 5 minutes. But the speech I picked was about a very sad situation in my childhood. And I'm just feeling that sadness right now. And it's just, so what you've been talking about has been very uplifting for me because of my sadness. I've been a little bit sad lately anyway, because of my situation financially and other things. So it just really struck hard. So I really appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm grateful to be here, Steve. And you're going to feel even better, I think, by the time we're done too. I got more for you.
Good.
Yeah.
I promise you. And it's actually going to carry into days later because you'll be able to use all this when things come up. It'll make sense in a little bit. But
Yeah.
thank you for sharing. Yeah. Miss
Yeah.
Sally, do you want to share something, honey?
Yeah, I'd like to share. We live in a sympathetic dominant culture.
Yeah.
You can't turn a program on and it's all about living in the sympathetic. And and what you're speaking about is learning how to live in the parasympathetic. And I just want to, I know very few people know this, but when you're within a 40-foot range of a horse, their heart rate puts you in the parasympathetic. So I love those horses. But yeah, it's I don't watch the news anymore because it's never good news.
Yeah.
And I meditate daily. I live I don't want to claim it's a Zen life, but it's a pretty darn quiet life. I was in a 3-day seminar last weekend, and it took me 3 days to recover because the energy was so high. And I'm like, I don't live like that. I mean, I love having the high, but I don't live like that. And it was 10 hours a day. And I'm like, it took me 3 days to recover. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to your sharing. I love parasympathetic tools.
This is, yeah, you're gonna love it, Sally. I think so. Maggie, was there anything you wanted to share? No pressure.
You're muted, hon.
I I personally know how fight or flight feels. For the longest time, I've just completely, for lack of a better word, isolated myself. And that's part of what Mac is seeing is I'm finally coming out of my shell and going, okay, I'm going to be the person I am.
Oh my God. Maggie, I cannot wait, girl. I'm gonna see you in person you are. I already like who you are, so this is gonna be like just more of you, I assume, which I'm excited about. That'll be good. Okay, so this is good. There's a few things that were said. So a couple things I'll share. Since I learned this and started implementing it, I learned it in 2017. It was actually the first year I hit well over six figures. And this is part of it. It's like I just my energy state was more attractive because I wasn't so spastic, probably. Like that's what I think. That's what I would describe myself. Now others may not see it that way. But let's talk a little bit about like fight, flight, freeze. So I love Maggie said you kind of like isolate. I'm much more of like a Fort Knox kind of person. Like nothing's coming in and I ain't coming out. Like I am just gonna sit in my contemplations, right? And like it's not bad to be alone and be in contemplation and love yourself so much, but it's not so good when you're doing it in an avoidance standpoint. There's something that's like uncomfortable that's triggering outside. The fight thing is the looking and we see this all over, right? And like Sally mentioned the news, right? We might even have a fight thing in our mind. Like I didn't grow up in a very calm home, and it was a more violent home. And so those stories used to play in my mind. And I would have like this is years ago, before I had any sort of awareness of my mind, what was going on, I would have these like arguments with my mother for years after I was out of the home. These things would play back and I would like be playing these situations back, but it was like with new power somehow. But it wasn't real, right? It was just like this fight. And that was only when I was like adrenalized, right? Or I would identify a certain way. So there's the fight, right? There's the flight. You might just be somebody that just bounces. You're like, I am out of here, right? Like I am not doing this 10 hours of things, right? Sally, you might be like, I'm going home, right? You'll see me at a lot of things. Once the evening hits, I'll show up and I'm there for a little bit and then I'm gone. I'm bouncing because I'm not a night owl, right? And so if I've triggered it all during the day, which we'll talk about that in a second, if I've triggered adrenaline at all, I'm not going to be able to make it at all at night. If I don't trigger, I can make it later. So we'll talk about that. So in 2017, I learned about this. I met a woman who created this methodology because she learned about the science. And I'm going to tell you what it is right now. It's fascinating. The way that the body works is a trigger happens. So it could be a thought, a loud noise, right? Some sadness even, right? Too much stimulation, whatever it is, a trigger where the heart rate actually starts to go up. And then there's a 10-second window. Write that down or capture it or remember it or say it out loud or something. There's a 10-second window between the time the heart rate goes up and the adrenals release adrenaline. Okay? So say I told you the story about years past when I was younger. I used to have these like fake arguments, like where I was trying to win instead of losing with my mother, right? Or say like a business challenge comes up, right? Or you're in a busy environment, right? Like Sally was like in a bunch of people. There's a lot of stimulation, right? I know what that means because I work from home by myself. So I'm not around a bajillion people all day. Now I do love being on stages, right? In front of a billion people. But I'm not usually in groups of people. I'm not a social butterfly, right? Typically in this season of life, I have been, and maybe I will be again, but in this season. So when I'm in social situation like the Achieve conferences, I have to be extra mindful of using the tools I'm going to teach you today, just because I'm not used to it. So I'm more likely to trigger. It's just, it's just on the nervous system. It's just more stimulation. I'm just not used to it. So you have a trigger. There's a 10-second window. In that 10 seconds, if you use some tools, what I'll teach you today, your adrenals won't release adrenaline. Interesting, right? If your adrenals don't release adrenaline, guess what else doesn't release? Cortisol later. The only reason cortisol is released, there's all this information out there like cortisol blockers. Don't have cortisol. Cortisol is bad. Well, truth is, why do we have cortisol? There's nothing in the body that's bad. The cortisol is fixing the cells of the body because they've had exposure to chemicals like adrenaline and other catecholamines. So we'll just use adrenaline and cortisol as the easy ones. There's more, but is the easy ones to kind of go off of. So first comes a heart rate up, 10 seconds. Adrenals release adrenaline. Hours later, cortisol releases. So sparkle fingers, if you ever have had seasons of your life where you've woken up in that like 3 o'clock-ish timeline. You're like, all of a sudden I'm up at 3. Okay, you triggered adrenaline, probably, because that's the time of day cortisol is releasing. So your body's going into repair mode, and that's why it's like turning on in a way. There's sleep mode, repair mode, right? But there's also cortisol release. You're waking up, it's cortisol, just so you know. Okay, I'm going to tell you how to not make it happen. I get up at that time every day to start my day. Well, that's a little bit different. I do understand that because I'm an early bird. I love to be out with the moon, baby. Right. So I don't know if you guys saw that moon last night, but that was wild. It was a big one. Yeah. Big. It's supposed to be big, even brighter next month. Like the biggest one of the year, in case you're interested in that kind of stuff. But okay. So things like belly aches, if you have like constipation, diarrhea, stuff like that. I used to have like get more stopped up when I traveled, like when I'd fly and travel car rides and all that kind of stuff. I would get more, I wouldn't be able to go to the bathroom as well easily. And what I recognized was I was triggering adrenaline and I was in the fight or flight cycle. So, if you're somebody who travels a lot, that could be helpful. If you get flushed, if you get headaches, right? Some people get my adrenal response, body response is sweaty armpits. I always say it's like and it'll happen sometimes, but at least I know what happens and I can be gentle on myself. So you want to know what happens in your body. So think about it for yourself. Do you get a bellyache? Do you get heartburn, headache? Do you get confused, brain fog? I get like what I call it's like Amazon under the arms. It's like raining cats and dogs under there. It will be like dripping down my sides. It's so bad, you guys. It's horrible. And it won't even be anything like that big of a deal. I'll just get like too excited sometimes, or I'll get, something will trigger me and I'm like, there go the armpits. They just get all sweaty. And it's been like that since I've been a kid. So we all have something. The face will tense up. The jaw will get tight. Right? Sometimes the tailbone will tuck, especially if you feel sad. The chin will tuck. The tailbone will tuck. We get smaller. We get rigid sometimes. So anybody want to share? Do you know what your thing is? I was just vulnerable telling you about my Amazon armpits. You guys never knew that. I know it's gross, right?
It's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, Sonia.
I get paralyzed. It's like, the analysis paralysis when I know I need to do something and it's really important and I have a deadline, like what I was preparing for my Chief speaker's live speech. I got myself so worked up and my perfectionist self kicked in and was not allowing me to go through the process of learning my speech so I could deliver it. And I
Yeah.
was like, broke out my nerves. I was broke out in hives. I was sick to my stomach. I got a headache, like a
Yeah.
migraine. And I'm like in my breathing, and it's like, okay, I know I can do this. Why? I feel like I was being psyched out by my own mind. And
You just you just gave yourself a cocktail of chemicals is all it is. That's all it
mhm,
is. It's just a
Right.
cocktail of chemicals that got triggered in the body. And I love how aware you are.
well, I did a meditation, a 15-minute meditation to help put me back in my higher self. So that way I could be who I needed to be during that speech.
Mm.
And so learning these tools
It's
are
huge. And I'm going to teach
powerful.
you how to not have it happen in the first place. So you don't even need the tools. If you want to meditate, fine. I meditate. I like sometimes I'm in and
Yeah.
out of it. I'm not real, it's not a big part of my daily practice every single day. I'll go through seasons of meditation where I'm better and stuff about it. Or I don't want to say better, but I just like to do it more. But what I would say is that you won't even need it once you are out of fight or flight and what we call pressure free. And I'll give you the stuff today. I love that. That's great. That was a perfect example because I work with a lot of speakers and this is a big part of it. Like imagine going on stage and not being in fight or flight and being in fight or flight. Like you've seen as people go on stages, they give a great speech, but they're nervous, they're shaky a little bit, right? And then you see the ones who are chill as cucumbers have been doing it for years, right? And there's just a difference. There's a trust factor, there's a relationship factor, there's just a little bit difference in terms of your attraction potential if you're out of fight or flight. Yeah. But good job. I mean, good job for recognizing and getting through it and showing up today and learn more. I love it. Anybody else want to share? You know your body responses or your mind? Yeah, Steve.
Yeah, brain fog.
Yeah.
If I'm giving a speech and I'm not well prepared, it's like, what's next, Even though I've rehearsed it before and I get it. Now, many years ago, I used to get real tight jaw,
Oh, yeah.
so much that I was grinding my teeth at night, and I had to get a piece to wear at night to keep me from doing that at night.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good clue. For some people, not everybody, right? But for some people, if the grinding, I used to clench and I
Uh-huh.
and they wanted to, give me all these things, do all these things, and I was like, I think I'm gonna work on my stress. Because I was like, I could probably chill out a little bit. I was like, I should probably chill out. Maybe I should take a few things off my plate and maybe my jaw will relax. That's kind of what ended up happening for me. And then I learned these tools later. But yeah, that makes sense. Mac, you raised your hand. What do you notice?
Well, what you're saying reminds me of something that happened early in my sales career. And I actually shared with Maggie the first conference she came to. I had a very important customer, and that was a freaking, I'll keep it clean, chump. Uh, and I was looking at the pictures on his wall while I was waiting for him, and he came out and he started yelling at me to just sit down there and wait for him, and that not to be looking around. And that I went to one of my mentors and he said, Mac, you were a Marine. He said, are you afraid of this guy? I said, no. He says, do you think he's going to shoot you and throw you bloody in the street?
Hmm.
I said, no. He says, then ignore him. If he's that much of a chump, close his account, open up the guy next door.
Nice.
And I actually shared these same words with Maggie when she was freaking out over a misspelled word on her flyer for the first conference. Nobody's going to shoot you and throw you bloody in the street. And I've lived that way for 40 years. I doesn't mean I don't get nervous, but I'm not afraid of being nervous.
What happens when you're nervous? I'm just curious because I can't really imagine you nervous yet. I haven't seen you nervous. So What happens in your
I think a
body?
lot of it is internalizing, but it's brief in that to the extent because then I go through that whole process.
Hmm.
No one's gonna throw. The only thing you have to worry about is being killed, and I don't worry about being killed because I'm taking 9 people with me, and that so,
Attaboy, attaboy. I love it. I love
well,
it.
and it's funny because my goal in life or my future self, I want to be on the news when I'm 96 years old and gangbangers killed me, but I took out 9 of them before they got me. So that is my hero moment.
We're writing the story now. Yeah, it's
Um,
so good. Well,
but
this is good. This is, what I love what you said, Mac. You said you internalize, so you go into like a thinking
yeah,
space a little bit, maybe, which so everybody's a little bit different, you saw, right? And you probably all have moments where you've had, you'll hear about speakers or performers throwing up before they go on stage, right? Like all of that is just being in fight or flight. I want to give you a couple more things about it before I get into the tools. So there's fight or flight or freeze we hear about, right? Get paralyzed. There's a couple others that I just want to share with you that you may experience in your own life with yourself or others. Is fib. So there might be people who tell these like small lies or even maybe a little bit bigger lies, but they only do it when they're in fight or flight. It's like they're doing it to try to keep something together, maybe, or they're trying it to try to impress people. I'll tell you a story just briefly. I had somebody once I talked to that I've known for years, almost my entire life. And he said to me one day, he goes, "Do you ever lie?" And I said, "I know why you're asking." Because he's a tall tale teller. And he said to me, he goes, I tell stories sometimes, right? He was like working through his own stuff. He goes, I don't think I want to do that anymore, right? He was probably about 40 when he came through this realization. And so what I knew, because I've always known him as a tall tale teller, I've known things he says are not true, but he's in this like high kind of state, he's just like in it, and you don't, I never really challenge him because it was never anything. It was all harmless. It would be like he stopped and helped an old lady on the side of the road, and I'm like, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. Right? Anybody sparkle fingers if you know somebody, if you ever met someone like that, you're like, and it's okay. You're not like mad at them. You're like, but okay, yeah. So here's what it is. They're probably in fight or flight. That fibbing thing. The other one is fawn. Women do this a lot. Young women especially. You'll see them fawn over each other or fawn over something or fawn over a boy or fawn over, something. If a girl group, you'll see this a lot, like you'll see it in all sorts of things, but like say a young girl, you can picture it easier in a young teenager group, and there's a girl that really wants to be part of the group. And so she's going to be like super nice to everybody, like overly nice, ultra complimentary, maybe giving everybody gifts, right? Maybe like fawning over everybody. Sparkle fingers, if that makes sense.
gushing.
Yeah. They've seen that a little bit here and there. Yeah. So those are things that happen too. Those aren't really. What was that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was asking Google what it meant, and I didn't realize I'm on.
You're good.
Sorry.
Yeah, so there's this fight, flight, freeze, but there's also, fib and fawn that we want to just be mindful of. The reason is because you might see it in your own self, might happen to yourself. And then also when you're around other people, and like I just told you, like you would see somebody and you're like, they're not telling the truth. You can have some compassion for them. Like they're under a cocktail of chemicals, they're stressed out. It's not their truest self, it's not their real self. It's their stressed self. And so my job right now is to teach you about these kinds of things that happen for yourself and for others, to compassion, and then teach you how to not be in it. So let's talk about it today. A couple things. My friend who created all of this, there's over 40 tools. So we're not going to talk about 40 tools today. I mean, you don't need 40 tools, right? That would be, you don't need all that. It's like the 12 Swiss Army knives. You don't need that. You need one, right? So I'm going to teach you a couple tools. One of the biggest tools I'm going to teach you today a body tool. So when you're stressed, something happens to your body. You get tight, you get tense, right? Your heart rate goes up, adrenals release. So what you want to start to notice is what triggers you. It might be a person, it might be a speaking thing, right? A situation, a context, or it might be something you're thinking, the past memories, the future fears, any of that kind of stuff that triggers you. A loud noise. Loud noises will trigger me. If there's like a backfire, I will be like, what? It gets me. And so I will use this tool. If you do something with your body that I'm going to show you in a second, in that 10-second window, you won't release adrenaline. You'll be fine. Your mind will be fine. You won't lose your cognition. You won't get brain fog. Your body will be fine. You won't go into a repair, having to go into a, you won't release cortisol later and have to go in a repair state later, right? So your organs are going to be healthier, right? Your body temperature, we could go on and on and on about it. The other thing is you're not going to lose, you're going to have more time in your day because stress takes up time. Does that make sense? Stress takes up time. Okay.
Yes.
It just is what it is. And so a lot of people will report like getting about 2 to 4 hours more in their day once they're out of fight or flight. Okay, so I'm going to give you this tool. It's called the celebration Ferris wheel. So say a stressor comes up. Say you got a speaking gig and you're nervous about it, right? That can happen. You're going to take that speaking gig. You're going to put it on the Ferris wheel. You can do it with me. And you're going to push it up and let that Ferris wheel go around. And then you're going to take your arms, thumbs up, arms wide and down, open chest, open chest, open chest. And you can do it a couple times. So Ferris wheel, what it does, it opens your body. This, you cannot be in fight or flight when you're open like this. Typically when you're in fight or flight, you're closed. Your body's going to think, your brain's going to think, excuse me, that you're okay. One more time, it'll feel good. Ferris wheel, whatever that stressor is, and then wide. Okay, so when I first learned this, I was actually going through a difficult season in life. I had multiple sins, right? Difficult things happen. And so there was a particular person that I was dealing with. It was challenging. And I put that person on the Ferris wheel. Now, it wasn't a rocket ship out to outer space. I didn't take them out. I just put them out on the Ferris wheel. Here's the thing. That thing's going to come back. Ferris wheel comes back, whatever you put it on, right? That speaking gig's going to come, right? The memory, the thought, the loud noises, even, they might come back some point, right? But you have a new state when it comes back. So if in the 10-second window, trigger happens, do the body, open the arms, you won't trigger adrenaline. Does that make sense? Pretty simple. It's so simple. Now, here's the deal. What if you can't do this? What if you're like somewhere you can't do this, right? You're like, I'm like, there's this person that just came in the room and for whatever reasons, it doesn't matter, you get triggered. You don't like them, they annoy you, they stole from you, they were mean to you, they stepped on your foot, right? Whatever happened, you feel like you're going to be triggered, right? It's going to happen. So what do? Here's the more subtle tips. These are huge. If you just learn this, you will have like way better days. Promise. Soften your belly. So relax the belly button away from the spine. We're always told, suck it in, 6-pack abs, blah, blah, blah. No, that's fight or flight. If you think about it, if there's a loud noise, what happens? Belly tucks in, right? Fight or flight. So you might be triggering fight or flight just by trying to keep your belly in, baby. Let it go for a while. It's okay. Let that belly go. If it's hard to let the belly go, because oftentimes it is, if it's tight, it's okay. You can relax the mouth because the mouth and the belly are connected. So so belly soft, a little smile. Now say the person comes in the room and you don't like them and you don't want to smile at them, right? I'm just going extreme here, but you may not have people like that in your life, but you might. So you can do an inner smile. It doesn't have to be a full, full face smile, just a little smile. But here's why. If you turn the corners of your mouth up in that 10-second window, you're not going to trigger adrenaline. You tell your brain you're not in danger by doing body cues. This is why I'm so passionate about the body. I'm like, oh my gosh, if you can master your body, this mind body thing in these subtle moments, everything gets easier. What I always say, and this is my language, everybody's different, but for me, it's like heaven on earth. It's like floating through space. It's like wonderful because if there's no fight or flight, I'm just living. It's great. And so that's what I want for you guys. So smile, belly soft, and celebration, Ferris wheel. Now there's more tools, but these are enough for now. I would say if you want to this strategy session, sign up. It'll ask about high ticket offer stuff. We can talk about this though if you want. We could talk about whatever. But what I can do too is say you're dealing with a particular stressor. We can find a tool that might match that well. So there's certain other tools that match really well. Like say you're really busy and you have all these things going on and you get stressed about time. Well, I've got some tools that are more time related that will help you not feel time stressed, for example. So that's what that session will be about. Like, hey, let's figure out what tools would work for you, how to get you out, you particularly out of fight or flight. But these will work. It almost is so simple, it's unbelievable, right? But if all you have to do, like I love Sally said, if you get this many feet with a horse, you're going to get in parasympathetic. I had someone tell me about the vibration of horses once, and that's why they're so good with healing. And I'm like fascinated by it. Fascinated. I think it's amazing. But if you think about a belly of a horse, it's not sucking it in. It's long, right? And more open. That's what we want, right? When we think about a horse, their lips, right? We want to be able to do that a little bit more because if our lips are so tight, we can't do that. We might be in fight or flight because we're holding, So we can learn a lot from the animals. The tail up, the belly soft, little smile, and then moving your arms. I'll tell you one more story here is I was in an airport in Detroit, and I just finished up co-leading a retreat in Michigan on the western side of the state. So it was, and I was at my friend's house in Battle Creek. So it's about 2.5 hours away from the airport. I'm going through and they say, pull out your laptop, put it in the bin, right? And I go to pull out my laptop. There's no laptop. And I have an online business in case you don't know. So the first thing I think is, oh, crap, right? But I had just left this retreat co-leading it with a woman who teaches how to not trigger stress hormones. So in that moment, my shoes are off, I'm in my socks, I'm looking in my bag, no computer. I think, oh crap, I go. So I will also look around a lot to change my perspective so I'm not focusing on the thing that's right. I was doing this. This woman looks over at me and I go, I'm saving myself from stress hormones. I'm saving myself from stress hormones. And she's like, okay. And then I get through security and I realized because my brain was working, because I had saved myself from stress hormones, that I had another laptop at home. Would I have remembered that if I had triggered? Maybe, maybe not. I might have spent the entire ride home on an airplane stressed. I've done it before for a variety of reasons, right? Because I've traveled a ton. But now I make a choice. I will not travel in fight or flight because I know it'll lead to probably some sort of sickness. I'll be, if I'm not in fight or flight, I'm good. I'm not sick. If you get in fight or flight and you go on an airplane with all these people, so I'm not weakening myself. That's why I'm like, I don't want to weaken myself when I go on these planes. So the point is, it takes a strong awareness first to figure out in the moment what triggers you, right? But once you do, we talked about a little bit of stuff today. You guys got different things. You can think about different things going on, the people in your life, the situations in your life, the worries, money stuff, right? Business stuff, all of it, right? Any of that stuff. In the moment, see if you can smile a little bit more, Relax the belly a little bit more. Open up. If I see what these Achieve conferences doing this, I'll know what's going on. I'm like, save yourself from stress. Save it. Save it. And here's the deal. I'm going to give you this one last tip is in men's bodies, in the male body, it takes up to 9 hours for stress chemicals to get out of the body, or excuse me, get out of the cells, to dissipate from the cells, to be cleaned out of the cells. Chemicals release, go in the cells. Stuff happens, right? Takes about 9 hours up to for it to get out of the cells of the body, and you know, in a woman's body, up to 24 hours. So you know the quintessential story: man, woman get an argument, man over it, woman not. It's biochemical. It takes a woman almost 3 times longer to get out of fight or flight than a man, right? It's survival. It makes sense in a way if you think about it. So the reason I want you to know that is so that you have compassion for yourself, compassion for others, but also to know that if you trigger multiple times a day, most women, I'm going to tell you right now, most women I meet, you're not going to meet hardly any woman out of fight or flight. It's because she's triggering more than once a day and she's not out of it because it takes us so long to get out of it. A man might trigger in the morning and be out of it by the evening, but a woman, she might need to take the whole day until she's out of it. So just be gentle on yourself if this happens. You know what's going on. Don't be like hard on yourself because your brain's not working, or hard on yourself because your belly's upset, or hard on yourself because you got Amazon armpits. Just have compassion. Say, oh, I'm going to have to take it easy tonight. I got to rest a little bit more. Maybe take a bath, right? Eat something a little bit more nourishing, or just be soft on yourself because it's just a chemical thing and you can get out of it by just using these tools over and over and over. All right. Was that helpful?
Yes.
I want more.
I know. I have, Mac, I'm like, it's honestly so hard. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so many things I could share. I have so many stories. I mean, people getting out of like decades long things like eczema and, all sorts of challenges in the body going away. And I mean, health issues and stuff, beyond the professional performance, stuff, of course. But I love this stuff. And here's what my work in this world, honestly, is about. I believe you deserve to receive what you want. And fight or flight keeps you from receiving what you want. And so this is a deserving thing. Like, you have to believe that you deserve to feel good. You have to believe that you deserve to be out of fight or flight, first off. You have to believe that you deserve to soften your belly and smile and open your arms, right? But that's my work in the world. It's like, so if you ever aren't feeling deserving, or if you're ever feeling stressed out, whether it be now or 10 years from now, just reach out. Because that's like what I'm here for.
Well, I did put your link in the chat, so everybody should save the chat, because I truly believe I need 100 hours with you. So there's not enough time on one of these masterminds to absorb all of Lila. And that I think most of us are going to be at the conference here in a couple weeks. I would highly recommend that you get 10 minutes of Lila's time so that she and you can get on each other's calendars for the week after conference. Anybody that's watching the recording, reach out to me. I'll pass on Lila's information. There's just so much here, and and now I got to get your link, and I got to spend money with you, which
You're funny.
Well, but I'm serious, I mean, I've been doing this for over 50 years, and then I think I know a lot of situations and how to avoid certain things. But every time I think when we were at Jamie's Connect and Collaborate 2 years ago, and you got me so jazzed up, I was almost standing on the chair, jumping up and down. And then you told me it was just for women. And I said, wait a minute, I'm allowed to identify as a woman in today's world.
That's right, you are.
You guys, I was launching a membership for women at the time is what it was. But Mac, you have practiced with me. One
Yes.
day you did.
Well, I know we were in the hallway one time and I was moving.
I saw you. That
I'm
was at a
real comfortable
conference.
with myself. So,
I
but
loved it. I loved it.
So
Leila,
Mac, just,
thank you for this.
Mac, just,
I'm gonna have to
Mac, just,
reach out.
I want you to know her stuff, her contact is not in the chat. I just looked and it's not in there. It's not in my chat. Maybe it's in yours.
I just put it in the under everyone.
I see it.
I see
Oh, I
it.
don't have, all right, I don't have it in mine.
Do you see it now, honey?
Yes, now I see it. Good,
Okay,
thank you.
good. Thank you for pointing that out so that
Yeah.
everybody has it. Anybody can call me or email me or text me. And I can get that information if you didn't capture it. Leila, thank you so much. This has been freaking outstanding. And that I look forward to seeing everybody. I'm going to stop the recorder now. Maybe.